coming. Well, as Sharaka told you guys, I am Muzaffar Rasulov, one of the students of this university, and my topic for today's TEDx talks is attitudes towards learning. Well, you may think that Muzaffar is only one of the students of this university, and what he can teach us about learning. Well, most of you guys knows that learning is so crucial in our life, and today I'm going to give you two tiny things that can change a lot the learning process. So, if you are ready, I will begin. Well, first of all, who am I? As Asharika mentioned, I am Muzaffar Rasulov, one of the students of this university. I'm a third year student, and it's an honor for me to stay here, to study here, and so today's topic, as I told, attitudes towards learning, and two tiny secrets that I'm really keen on to give you these secrets. First of all, I have several questions that I really want you guys to answer. So first question for you guys, is it easy to wake up so early every day? Can you answer? The question is it easy for you guys to wake up so early every day? No. Yes? No? Yes? No. Yes? No? Yeah. Some of you say that it's easy, and some of you say it's not easy. Well, okay, the next question. Is it easy for you guys to work or study over time? Is it easy? No. Yeah. No? Yes? Yes. Okay. It's normal to have the both answers, yes and no. And the last question for you guys. Is it easy to work out and do tiresome activities every day? Is it easy? No. No? Yes? Actually, let me conclude these questions. You can see that if you have enough motivation to do these activities, it's so easy. And you keep doing these activities. If you don't have enough motivation to do this task, it means it's really difficult to take up a new habit or to take up these activities. So, I'm going to give you a clear vision that how motivation is important in our daily life. And in terms of education, in terms of learning something else, it works like that. If you have enough motivation, you can keep studying a long time periods. And otherwise, you just give up studying or learning something else. So, but it's a real question that information that I really want to give you guys is why our motivation is not long-lasting. You know, most of the time we can't keep our motivation alive for long periods, maybe 3 months, maybe years. So, I really want to give you these answers. The first reason that our motivation for learning something else is not long-lasting is wrong aiming. Yeah, it sounds a bit funny, maybe it sounds a bit stupid, but the aiming is so crucial when you want to learn any new subject. Well, when it comes to aiming, it's a bit difficult to explain. That's why I choose two pictures, and please choose one of them. The right one or the left one. If you want to use some kind of roads, if you want to go somewhere else, which picture will you choose? Right one, left one? Okay, it's the left one from my side. Yes, left one is the right one. Okay, most of you say the left one is okay for you, and the right one is not okay. Why? Well, it's so near, you can see that the end of the road is so near. It means that after reaching the end of the road, you lose the motivation to keep walking, to keep going somewhere else. Why? Because there is no road. There's the end of the road. That means if there's no road, you lose the motivation to keep walking. On the other hand, the second picture is totally vice versa. It doesn't matter how long you're going. It doesn't matter how long you have walked. 100 meters, maybe 200 meters. There's no end. It means you keep your motivation alive to go somewhere else. Somehow it's kind of phenomenon that can help you to understand what's the role of aiming in our life. Okay, Before preparing this presentation, I have known that it may be a bit unclear for you. That's why I have prepared a real-life example about the role of aiming. Well, so how many of you have already witnessed this situation? Before an exam, one day, maybe a week ago, a week before an exam, we study so hard, even 8 hours a day. But after passing an exam, we lose our motivation to keep learning, to keep studying. We just lay on the sofa and watch the movies, maybe TV, soap operas, it doesn't matter. But we just waste our time. Why we can't continue learning, learning in the pace that we did before an exam? Yeah, that's the thing. It's really difficult for us to keep ourselves motivated for long periods. Why? And when it comes to this case, our aim was, before preparing for an exam, our aim was to just pass an exam. So, after passing an exam, we have already achieved what we have expected. So it means that there is no motivation to keep studying. That's the thing. Okay, let me explain it more scientifically. Okay, there's a book called Atomic Habit from James Clear, and I really wholeheartedly recommend to read this book in English because I really recommend you guys to get the original meaning of this book. And from that book, I learned two things: outcome-based and identity-based habits. But I want to use these two circles in terms of learning and aiming. If your aim is just result, outcome, it's really hard to keep your motivation alive in terms of learning something else. Why it's like that? Let me give you an example. Imagine there is a student. Actually, by the way, I work as an IELTS tutor in one of the local educational establishments. That's why I have witnessed this situation in my real life. Well, one of my students came to me and told me that he really wanted to get IELTS full mark. And his aim is result, outcome. His aim, outcome based. You guys understand, right? His aim, just the result, outcome. And after studying a month, his result was 6. And it was really difficult for him to continue his learning process. Why? Because he is so stressful. He was so stressful at that time because his aim was to get 7 mark, but at that period he got 6. It means he was doing so bad. You understand I said, but that's the thing that if you focus on the outcome, whenever you're trying to learn something else, it means it may be so stressful and it may be so difficult to keep learning, to keep the motivation during the whole process. And let me explain the second circles, and it's called identity-based. What's the identity, first of all? Identity is the thing inside of us. Identity is a thing like a person. Well, if my student's aim was to be a person who speaks fluently English, who understands whatever he listens, whatever he reads in English easily, and if his aim was to write anything with strong arguments in English, in that case, he wouldn't find it difficult learning English. Why? He would get the funny part of process. Because, in that case, the brain accepts the information, receives that information when he got 6. However, his aim was 7. If your aim to be a person who speaks in English fluently, who knows English very well. Why? Because if you have 6 marks and your aim is 7, but your aim is not being a 7-holder people, your aim is to be a special person who knows English very well. In that case, you say, thanks to God. Why? Because 1 month ago, your result was 5.5, maybe 5. After a month, your result was 6. It means a lot for you because you keep increasing. Okay, That's a real life example. So my advice for you guys, whenever you want to learn, whenever you want to study something else and some kind of subject, please set a goal carefully. In that case, you keep your motivation alive. That's a very tiny thing, but results big. Just believe me. Try to use these words. Set a goal carefully. Aim, set goal for long periods. Not just for a week, maybe for a kind of month. Okay? Is everything clear? So, if everything is clear, I want to give you the second reason why our motivation for learning something else is not long-lasting. Okay. The second reason why our motivation for learning is not long-lasting is wrong learning styles. I mean, less effective learning styles. Because in that case, I don't want to teach you how to learn any kind of subject. I want to give you very tiny thing. If you follow these words, you find it very easy to keep yourself motivated when you want to learn something else. Well, actually, I found it very hard to explain, and I decided to choose this picture. And my question is, do you like burgers?
Yes.
Do you like burgers? Yes? Yes? Okay. Most of you like burgers, yes. Okay, the second question, maybe it sounds a bit interesting. How many burgers can you eat?
100.
How many burgers? 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, imagine. If the burgers are free, are totally free, and you haven't eaten dinner, maybe for breakfast, you haven't had breakfast, and you came just to eat, your lunch. So, in that case, how many burgers can you eat? Burgers are free, totally free, and you are so hungry. 4, 3, 2,
1.
4, 1 again, 5 burgers, 10 burgers, right? Okay. Okay, that's a thing related to budget, okay? Well, okay, I'll change the question a bit. Slightly I'll change the question. How many burgers can you eat if you are not hungry, if you are full? How many burgers can you eat?
0.
No burgers. Okay. Why? That's the point. If your stomach is empty, you can eat more. If your stomach is not empty, is full, there's no place for food. It means the quantity, the amount of food really depends on whether your stomach is empty or not. And maybe it sounds maybe kind of interesting, but just believe me. Stomach works in a similar way with brain. What I really wanted to say you guys is that if your brain is empty, that means, if your brain is hungry for knowledge, it means the amount of knowledge that you can get, it will be a lot. If your brain is full of knowledge, if your brain is not hungry, if your brain is tired of having much more knowledge and information, in that case, it's really difficult for your brain to get much more information, extra information. In that case, you lose productivity level in terms of learning something else. Well, okay. Let me give you an example. Imagine we have all the business situation. One of my friends studied so hard, even 5, 6, maybe 7 hours a day. And one of my friends, one of my friends who always hangs out with their friends. But when it comes to exam, their results are totally same each other. Why? It doesn't matter how many hours you're spending on learning something else. The matter is just to keep your brain hungry for knowledge. If your brain hungry, in that case you can learn more. If your brain is not hungry, you can't learn. You can't get much more information. And the thing that my advice is, please guys, don't forget, whenever you're studying so hard, I really recommend to study so hard, but don't study for 4 hours, maybe 5 hours without breaks. Okay? Just keep having breaks. I mean, if your brain is tired. Just hang out or go to somewhere else, maybe go to play PlayStation, maybe to play the real life football, but just keep your brain hungry again. Okay, my advice, set a timetable considering breaks. Breaks means a lot in terms of learning. And the thing that I really want to give you guys, that's all somehow, and let me conclude all information. Okay, the first thing that why our motivation is long lasting, the first reason is wrong aiming. Yes, wrong aiming. And the solution of wrong aiming, just keep focused whenever you are setting a goal. So set a goal carefully. Okay. The second reason why our motivation in terms of learning is not long lasting is wrong learning styles. So try to set your timetable not full of breaks, but considering breaks. Somehow your brain needs some period to be hungry again. So that's all for now that I really wanted to give you guys. I think the information that I have already shared is kind of useful for you. I thought, so thank you very much.